So I'd like to bring up right now for our first session 2 of our Golden Pickle Business Award winners, and I'm going to present them with their awards, and then they're going to also be doing keynotes a little bit later on today and tomorrow. And they're going to sit in right now for Carl Schmitz because of a last-minute situation, which unfortunately, that's your worst nightmare other than getting a rained-out tournament when you're in Boca. But I want to bring up Paul Olson from Selkirk TV. A lot of you have been on his shows. He's been around the industry for quite some time. He's interviewed pretty much everybody that's anybody, and also Dr. Rommie Maxey. They are award winners, and when you guys leave, they're going to get these nice awards to put on your...
Very nice.
How about that? You got room in your bags for that? Let's have a round of applause for a couple real true pioneers. All right. So I'll have these guys sit down. We're going to do a little session here with these guys about the state of pickleball. Dr. Rommie Maxey, by the way, is a good friend. He's a veteran. He works with the veterans in Houston. He owns the Houston Pickleball Club and 2 other clubs in Houston. He started recently. Also is a part owner of the Houston Hammers, the MPL team. That's the Boca Raton team that I own part of, which we won the championship last year. That's what this little ring is. I only wear it for special occasions, so this is in case somebody gets out of line, I can punch them real hard and take care of them. But so Rommie's, we've known each other, competed against each other. They had a tough team last year, but they let us win last year. Thanks, Rommie. But he's also with the Acacia Shoes, and these guys have been true pioneers in all aspects of the sport. If you haven't met them before, make sure you meet them before you leave. They pretty much know everybody, have talked to everybody. And we're going to open up for questions a little bit later, but I'm going to let them talk a little bit about their backgrounds and how they got into pickleball. We'll start with Paul Olson, I was just on his show recently, and the future of pickleball is right here with Paul Olson.
Thank you very much. You know, it's been interesting. I actually spent my entire working life, going back to a lot of decades ago, in the sporting goods business. I was intrigued with pickleball when I got involved with it about 13 years ago because it brought some things to the sports world that had never been done before. Am I in trouble here? And so, but what happened was because I had been in the business of sporting goods, I'd seen emerging and growth sports over 35 years, I loved some of the things that I saw that were unique, and this insane demographic range of 8 to 80 that we've got had never been done in sports before. So that's what brought me into it and engaged me in it. I had the fortunate opportunity about 7 years ago. I had moved to Mexico trying to develop a major pickleball center in the interior of Mexico, not for the financial side of it, but to really try and grow Latin American pickleball. I couldn't make it happen at that time, but I'd gotten involved with Selkirk, and to make a long story short, which I can do long stories, the Selkirk asked me about 2.5 years ago if I would begin doing a podcast about the sport of pickleball. And my age, my experience, my background, I always have found myself able to talk and meet the movers and shakers in the sport everywhere that I would go. And then I spent 3.5 years full-time traveling the United States and some of the world in the pickleball sphere, and I met people. I've had 85 episodes have been broadcast on the Selkirk TV channel, and the show is called The Future of Pickleball. And join me. I've got a little presentation that I'm going to do tomorrow, but thank you so much, and thank you, Carl, for the recognition. This is very nice.
It was voted on by a lot of the industry peers, so it's an honor to have you guys here in person to be able to accept this. Dr. Rommie Maxey, talk about your pickleball background, because you're quite extensive and you're in all aspects of it.
I appreciate that. Is it open? On? Yes, okay. I got to put mine up closer. Paul and I, by the way, we're pickleball partners on the court as well. So we went to, just recently went to a national qualifier, and we didn't get as far as we wanted to, but we did pick up a silver medal, so it wasn't so bad. But by the way, who's been on your Future of Pickleball the most times? Yeah. Okay, so we've been close friends for a long time. I got started, I was a former athletic director, and then became more on the entrepreneur side and started getting involved in pickleball about the same time Paul did, and learned how to play, got lucky went out and won a couple of national championships, and then I decided I need to come back and help other people learn how to play because they kept asking me, can you help us now? Can you do this? So I started doing that in the beginning and started teaching. Now I've trained over 12,000 players in my little time of playing the sport. But along the way, we got involved, and we now have 2 indoor pickleball facilities in Houston, Texas, Pickleball Country Club and Casa Pickle. And then we purchased a professional team in the MPL, the Houston Hammers, and do some international travel excursion things throughout the year. So just heavily involved in all things pickleball, and I'm national director with Acacia Sports. You can go down and see their booth later on, hopefully. Take a look at the shoes, and so it's just been a wild ride for me. So it just keeps me involved constantly in the pickleball space, and enjoy talking to people like you about the pickleball game. And if there's anything I can do to help any of you, I'll be more than happy to do so. If you're pickleball people that are wanting to get involved in something in the space.
Yeah, Rommie will be speaking a little bit later on also, but very interesting if you're looking to open up a club, and I know I've talked to a few people. We met some people last night in the lobby from Canada. They said we're getting ready to open up some first-time, big-time places in Canada right now because they don't have the big indoor flux we'll have a lot of the franchise groups here over the next couple days from Dill Dinkers and also Pickle Rage talking about their expansion because that's one of the hottest things going right now. They're building, I don't know how many here in South Florida, the indoor facilities. We got the Boca Paddle Club, which will be represented here with Dr. Davis. That's just broke ground. It's going to be opening up here in the Boca area in about a year. 16 indoor courts plus several paddle courts, or padel. You say tomato, I say tomato, but I hear padel, paddle club. But how many people here play paddle as well as pickleball? Yep, it's huge, as we know. It's huge in Europe. It's huge in the Americas. And it's catching on very fast here in South Florida as well as around the country. You're going to see pretty much these new facilities all incorporating paddle. So our next expo might include paddle like Racket X does. They have a big paddle influence down there at their event. So wanted to talk to you guys. Did you guys win your medal in the 30 division, over 30s?
It was over 30.
Over 30.
Over 30. Well over 30.
Double that.
Sounds good. Well, talk about, Rommie, I wanted to ask you a question about the idea of a club, because that's, we're talking to the people we met last night from Canada, and how many people here own clubs or invested in clubs? Okay.
Great.
Anybody interested in buying a franchise or looking to open up a club in your area? So we're going to have some interesting people here the next couple days. We also have some investment capital people. A lot of the big things going on now that we're finding out, companies like 35 Capital will be represented. We've got Trans World Brokers going to be here. They buy and sell. They're the official business broker of USA Pickleball now. So they're creating new categories because people are looking to get into pickleball, as we know. They're trying to figure out and find a niche. How can I turn my passion into business? So that's one of the things. So talk about the aspects of getting a pickleball, because now you have 2 of them, and it's not as easy as just turning the keys and open the door, is it?
Right. Everybody thinks that if you build it, they will come. Not necessarily. It's a challenge each and every day to make a successful club. In Houston, for example, just 3 short years ago, there was 1 club. 3 years ago. Indoor club. Now there are 20 plus in 3 years. So the competition's coming in. Of course, we do have 7 million people in the population, so we do have something to work with there. But it's a challenge, and the challenge is to be the best that you can be. And it's work every day. It's trying to do the things that people want in a club, and those are the challenges. Either they want leagues, do they want team building experiences, do they want to have birthday parties, all the other things that besides just opening the doors and say bring your paddle and let's play, that's not going to make a business run. You have to have a lot of other things going on, and we're constantly marketing different aspects of pickleball and how to get those relationships. We have a group of ladies that come in and they play mahjong, if you know what mahjong is. And they come in and play for a couple hours of pickleball. They play 2 or 3 hours of mahjong. They go back to pickleball, and then they have a glass of wine. But we have another group of guys that comes in, and they come in and watch the Astros and play dominoes. They don't even play pickleball. But it's a family atmosphere. We created an atmosphere that welcomes people to come in, and if they just want to watch pickleball, if they want to play pickleball, but there's a lot of things that you have to do to make a business run successfully. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have, or what some of the things that we're doing to be successful in the Houston market. And we are number one.
Yeah, we'll open up for questions in a little bit. Our next session coming up is 9:50. We'll have Tito Machado here, Katie Nimitz, Brad Tuckman with a new facility called The Fort that just opened up. If you're out of town and you're here, you want to stop over there and check that out. They've got the biggest pickleball stadium court in the world dedicated to pickleball, and just an amazing facility right down the street from not too far from Palm Beach, but it's closer to me in Boca. And then also going to joining us at that time is Hercilio Cabieses, who is the founder of the Pickleball World Cup, which is really expanding as far as international. We'll be focusing a lot on the international aspect, the road to the Olympics. We've got several people here from the World Pickleball Federation, the International Association of Pickleball, and the Global Pickleball Federation. So, and Paul is going to be talking about the international governance a little bit as well. Paul, what about, you've interviewed so many top people, and I know every day we turn around, there's a new company in pickleball coming in, whether it's a new product. You're going to see, I'd say 80% of the exhibitors downstairs you're going to see weren't here last year. They're all new with new products, new apparel, new rackets, stay cool as a pickle, new ways to get into the pickleball space. So it's pretty interesting to see some of the unique stuff that's down there. I just walked through last night when they were setting up. They got little dinkers. They got a whole line of apparel for tots and babies. Got to start them early. I mean, if they're walking, they got to put a pickleball paddle in their hand, right? That's how we get the next generation going. But talk to me about some of your guests that really stick out in your mind when you've interviewed so many people besides Rommie and myself. But who sticks out in your mind is some of the things that you just sort of surprised you after the interview? Said, "Wow, that was pretty amazing."
It really ties into what Rommie's talking about. I've had 4. I'm actually looking forward to meeting the Pickle Rage people, because that'll be the only franchise organization that I haven't interviewed their CEO. And one of my interests in the franchise development side of things was, any of us that have been around the game a long time know that our hurdle now, in the past, and in the future is always going to be facility access. So when the franchises started to come up, I was very interested, because I knew that they were going to be able to develop court facilities far faster than municipalities could expand them. And one of the things that became a theme that I didn't anticipate, but really became very educational for me, was what is the programming that a facility operator needs to do for success? And all 4 of those podcasters, and just this quick commercial, Selkirk TV, the Selkirk TV app is a free app on your phone, and on that app you'll find under shows on Selkirk TV, The Future of Pickleball, and all 85 of my interviews are on there in a library. And if you're in the facilities business, I guarantee you it will be very worthwhile for you if you watch nothing other than the 4 interviews with the 4 major CEOs. But programming seems to be the answer. And as I travel the country very extensively, I'm fortunate I get invited to a lot of very cool, many very new places. Programming seems to be the formula that is separating the winners from the losers. That would probably be my biggest observation.
Yeah, the programming, and we're going to touch on that with a lot of the facilities over the next couple of days that have the experience, like Rommie, that they're in business, they've opened up, and they're tweaking a lot of things. We've seen some clubs not make it. They came out real early, built a beautiful facility, and like you said, just because they built it, the people just didn't flood the gates. You got to have the marketing behind it. You've got to come up with the programs, whether it's leagues, clinics, tie in other events and sports. We're going to touch a lot of that marketing and advertising too over the next couple days, because we see the ones that are being successful and the ones that are growing, they can't build these fast enough. I mean, I don't know how many franchises, the Pickler and these other Deal Dinkers, they've sold how many franchises, and they're not even a third of the way built.
Yeah, my assessment is that we have over 2,000 franchise commitments made. around the country. But I'll tell you something that really, really is a factor, and look at this hard. As these facilities are blowing up, they are all going to need to add new members. So there has been a propensity to think that, okay, we'll build it, they will come, we'll automatically fill our facility with existing pickleball players. I guarantee you that will not happen. So the beauty of it is, as a facility operator like Rommie might have an opinion on this, you've got to add players to your membership. You've got to bring in brand new people that have never played pickleball. Well, isn't that exactly the impetus that we're all looking for, is how do we expose the game to more people? We all know what happens with the addiction once we get them to touch it and feel it, but the facility operators will be the next move to growing and accelerating the growth of pickleball.
How many people here belong to a pickleball club? Okay, that's pretty good. So it's depends on what area you're in. Obviously, weather-wise, up north and other parts of the country, they don't have the option to play outdoors year-round like we do here in Florida, Arizona, and other warm weather states. And some of the competition that's going on, they're building 18 covered courts at Patch Reef Park in Boca Raton, where I do the Boca Masters. I know a lot of you have played that tournament before. It's our 4th year. We started out taping courts. We had 6 little courts. Then they put in 12. Now they're adding 18 covered courts. They'll be ready in October. So I know Fast Dry's here. They're doing the work over there at those courts. And I play there every morning. So every day I'm walking by, I'm checking in and see how Jeff's company's doing. Get those courts ready, baby, because it's too hot out here. So it's not only the rain, but in Florida, after 9 or 9:30, I'm done. I mean, it's until you get later in the afternoon, the heat is just so hot. But so the courts are empty. I mean, you look around these facilities, that's why they're going indoors, and that's why you can play any time of the day. The covered courts, the next step of being indoors, because they have fans, they're totally covered, not air conditioned, but you know what? You can play all through the day, and it's the Fort has them, and a lot of facilities, Chicken and Pickle, that we used to do our events. Anybody been to a Chicken and Pickle? One of the great concepts out there around the country, if you haven't had a chance. Not in Florida. We tried to build one in Boca, but we lost a bid to the Fort, to the Paddle Club, actually, Boca Paddle. So they're coming in to speak because we're trying to get Chicken and Pickle. Great concept, great family, games, outdoors. They got indoor courts, just an awesome atmosphere for any kind of parties and get-togethers. They spoke last year. They couldn't make it in this year. They just opened up a facility in Henderson, Nevada. I think they've got 17 facilities now. They're expanding. They're not a franchise. They're owned by David Johnson, Chicken and Pickle, but pretty cool company. So I'd like to open up for some questions, because I know there's a lot of questions that I could ask these guys, but I want to give you a chance to, well, we got a few minutes here before our next session, to ask them anything about pickleball, because believe me, they've got an answer, whether it's about a club, whether it's about the international scene, or any aspect of what Paul and Rommie have done over the last, I mean, how many years have you guys been in pickleball? I mean, you guys are like pioneers. I mean, just not longer than me.
2012.
Is he looking at our age?
2012. I'm checking IDs later. 2012.
Been a while, yes.
It's been a while. Okay. Well, they're all white hair, so that's experience, right? That's wisdom.
This is actually called platinum.
Oh, platinum.
This is not. Yeah.
Platinum hair. Go ahead. Adam, anybody got a question? We'll get the question on the microphone. Don't be shy. Now's the time to ask some questions for Rommie, and otherwise I'll keep asking questions.
So I have a question for you. It was proposed to me earlier. Somebody asked about the amount of women in pickleball, and not as players, but as executives. What have you seen as opportunities for women in the industry as executives?
Both of our general managers at our clubs are women. As an example, they do a fantastic job, and they've developed our ladies programs, and as far as the group sessions that they have, and ladies leagues and things. So we're very proud to have those involved. But as an example, I've just used that, but to start with. But I think there's a great opportunity for the ladies. It's probably 60% of the population that plays pickleball is women. And that's what we see when we have our different leagues, different tournaments and things. The population is usually leans toward the lady side.
I think one of the things, the big things also, 5-6 years ago when I started getting involved with pickleball, it was pretty much more geared towards 50 plus. I think the average demographic now is down to about 35 or 37, where the majority of the population playing pickleball. It keeps getting younger and younger. We're seeing it in the next gen. We've got Komodo Pickleball, runs a big youth program. I think Youth Alliance. We've got a lot of different groups. APP runs the next gen program with all the middle school, high school. I mean, you're seeing it all at public facilities where you're seeing families come out, but you're seeing the younger kids. The colleges now, there's actually several universities offering pickleball scholarships, and their pickleball clubs. Tito and Duper will talk a little bit about their big involvement with the collegiate level of pickleball and the Duper clubs. That'll be coming up in our next session here with Tito. But Duper's doing a great job expanding the sport and growing the sport at all levels and all ages. So you see from the tiny tots up. So I think the whole industry is doing a bit of a paradigm shift, right, Paul? I mean, you're seeing the demographics switch.
I'll tell you, I don't like the term demographic switch. In fact, the reality of pickleball and what has made this sport become what it has is the enormity and the width and breadth of the demographics. Because the sport started, when you think about it, really with retirees that were down in Florida, Texas, Arizona, there was a degree of sophistication. There were people that had time, they had life experience. Most of the people who came into the early days of pickleball, they came with a real passion and a real fervor, but it is the 50-plus community that is absolutely paramount to our sport because we control the disposable income in this economy. The vast majority of facility operators will do far more of their memberships will be with older adults. And I'm not suggesting one or the other. I'm saying think of our sport as being absolutely inclusive. Figure out how from 8 to 80 you can make your facility as attractive and desirable as possible. That's the formula. I've got just a little twist. I was in Dubai in January for the first international conference, and I met a man named Thomas Neurt, and he's building a facility, or he's running a facility in Dubai, and he's very proud of what he's doing, and he should be. He's got a fabulous program going on. He sends me photographs, and I criticize him every single time. It's almost all men. He's trying to create this jock network, and I say, that's fine, but if you don't realize, if you don't have 40% or more of your players are women, you're just missing business opportunities everywhere you turn. The width of our demographic is the magic point of pickleball in my mind.
Robbie, talk about your membership level. What's your ratios at your membership? You talked about the women, the general managers, and it's not only getting the members, but how do you keep them when other facilities open up down the road? It's going to be a very competitive business. They're going to lower the prices. And the whole big thing, too, is some facilities are strictly open play. They don't do membership. So different concepts out there, what's working? Or is it a mix? Do you have to have a mixed brand of membership and open play? Because somebody visiting just wants to come in and play pickleball. They don't want to join a membership. Can they come in as a guest?
One of the things we did, we do a yearly membership. We do not offer monthly memberships. This kind of relates to getting them involved and buying into the concept that we want them for a long term. And we're over 53% women in our memberships, by the way. So the yearly membership, and then we cut that membership off at a certain number too. We cut the memberships off because we actually make more money by them coming in and paying the $15 a day open court fees and things. So as far as the monetary side of it, the open play and without a membership is better for us in the long term. But our yearly memberships are filled up, and then we will roll those over again in September and October coming up this year, which will be a nice little windfall at that point for us because we get the 350, 400 members that will be rolling over their memberships at that time. And it'll probably grow to 500 this time because we've got a lot of folks that want to get a yearly membership that didn't get in on the first time. So we created this environment of excitement of you've got to get a membership or you're kind of left out at that time. So it's team building experiences. Every company out there now does a team building experience. So we have so many car dealerships and restaurants, and we go out and solicit these companies and get their involvement to be a part of the club, and they come and do their team building, and then we get new members and new players because they come in, and some of them have never played the game before, and that's another way of getting involvement of the new generation. And we spoke generally quickly about the colleges. We have 3 universities in town that are large universities, not counting the junior colleges, and we've aligned ourselves with the colleges. And we have the banners up, you know, home of the University of Houston Cougars or Rice University, Houston Christian. And we give them half price as students, give them some incentives. We've gone to the athletic directors and we've asked all the Division I athletes, and we give them a special rate. So the Division I athletes, when those guys come in, they're immediately pretty good at pickleball because they're such good athletes and so forth. So it really brings in a different culture as well. So we're trying to bring in that younger generation to play. So.
I think one thing, too, is if you have a new product, I think questions asked to me a lot, and I do a show called Inside World Pickleball TV show. It was on CBS Sports and also Fox Sports, and now it's on Amazon Prime Video and Pickle TV Network, which will have one of the top executives from CBS Sports here speaking tomorrow about pickleball on TV. How many people watch pickleball on TV? You guys all watch it? Do you watch more videos on how to play better, or do you want to watch the pros play? That's always a big question. So I'd rather be playing than watching these other guys play if you're a player. Now, if you're not a player, and that's one of the biggest things we're trying to work on the TV side, we'll get into that a lot more, is why can't we get better ratings and why aren't more people watching pickleball like tennis and some other sports? And a lot of it has to do with the speed of the sport. And in tennis, you see a 3 or 4 hour match, 30 seconds between points. You got time to towel off. They get time to show a replay. The announcers have time to talk about it. Pickleball, you don't have time to talk about anything. It's bam, 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 bam. So that's one of the things that right now the networks and the TV folks are, you know, we're meeting and talking about how can we make it a better visual to watch on TV. So that's one of the key things. We have a gentleman in the back, Adam. One second, let me get a mic so we can hear your question. Run off those muffins, Adam. Let's go.
Thank you. I'd like to add to that. What I've seen is, you know, we have to. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Thank you. You're doing a hell of a job. What was I going to say? I think that the young players have to be. We have to look at them to bring up the next generation. They have to be responsible. They are the leaders, you know, for bringing up the younger generation. We can't have people breaking paddles on the court. I mean, you know, we see a lot of that, and a lot of people condone that, and I think that's a problem. And I think we need to contribute to the sport. They have to be good, you know, good losers as well as winners. I mean, these kids are making a lot of money now. You know, they're in their 20s making millions of dollars now. So from the sponsorships and all that, we have to promote being responsible, you know, role models for the sport. And I think that really is a big thing. And I think that's why a lot of people, I saw that kid break his paddle the other day. I don't know if anybody in here saw the tournament. It was like a week ago. I mean, that has to stop. I mean, and, you know, in all fairness, Dave Fleming, he needs to speak up too, you know, because he condones some of that stuff sometimes. And I'm like, how could that be? You know, how could, you know, so I think that we have to look at our young players and make them understand that they're going to be role models in the sport. I think that's real important.
Yeah, I think the personalities are going to be a big thing. Now we see tennis players break rackets too. So, and I see baseball players breaking bats over their legs. But it's not good conduct for any sport. And it's really a lot of times it's a younger generation playing the pro sport. We have the 50 plus in the MPL league. And we still got guys throwing paddles and stuff. At 50 plus, they're not even the young kids doing that type of thing, but that's, you know, it gets competitive out there on the courts. We understand that. But yeah, I agree. It's a lot harder to break a pickleball paddle than a tennis racket, I'll tell you that. I think the guy almost broke his leg when he's trying to break the pickleball paddle. Yeah, it's not easy to break those paddles, that's for sure. Adam, you have, right there.
My name is Wally Waiters, and I have a quick question for you regarding franchises, because I've been following the franchise model for years. I have a friend down here in Boca, Forever Young. He has 200 franchises in 5-6 years. So for the pickleball model, I want to know, first of all, how much it costs to get into a franchise. What is the success rate? How many units should one person buy at one time to control an area?
You know, I know an awful lot about franchising. but I don't have everything. There's a guy 2 rows behind you named Will Richards who's with Dill Dinkers, and when people address franchising questions to me, I guide them to. I've had the privilege of interviewing 4 CEOs that all have different information to bring. That information is all there to see. I will tell you that there's, and you should check with Will, because there's all kinds of legal requirements that a franchise organization has to do and document for the government. And so that's really where you would get that information, but it's readily available. You'll be able to find that stuff to the T, I promise.
He's going to be speaking. He'll be speaking later.
Actually, we have Will and a whole panel for that. We got you covered.
He's got a whole panel. He'll be able to answer all your questions. Him and his wife both at Dill Dinkers. But if you want to answer a quick question right now, a sneak preview.
Quick question.
What was the question again? It was
What was a specific question, Wally? How much or what?
Well, and you'll be able to get. That's what we're here
Let's
for.
just meet in person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's not a one-answer question. It's pretty in depth. How much money you got, Wally? We have a question back here. Go ahead, man.
Yes, hi, good morning. Melanie Romero with Octo, the ultimate pickleball backpack. I'm one of the new 80% of new products that's here this year. But my question is about, I have a great friend in Denver, Colorado, and she's great at programming. She's a general manager of one of the pickleball facilities I go to. She would like to open her own place. Paul and Rommie, would you recommend that a person like that buy into a franchise, or should they just find some real estate and then put in courts and programming and use court reserve and all that kind of stuff? Which way should a person go? I see people opening up clubs in abandoned malls and other existing facilities, but I don't know what to tell her. I'd like to bring home some wisdom back to Denver for her to say you should get some investors and go the franchise route, or just go at it alone and you'll be fine, because she's excellent at programming and she has a huge following on Facebook. There's like at least 1,000 of us following her, mostly women. And so yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Let me try to address that a little bit. Obviously, I didn't go the franchise route, but I think the key word here is the person's background and experience. If they've been involved and maybe owned some businesses like I have, they've been in the pickleball space for a long time, maybe longer than the people that are doing the franchises in some cases, no offense. But I think it's the experience level of those people and the confidence that they may have in putting something together, and if they've had some challenges like that before. So we didn't go that route because we've had those experiences and knew what we were doing, and we've been successful at it. But the franchises I knew do work, and for some, and if that's the level they need of comfort zone they need, then I think that's a good way to go as well.
If I could just kind of throw a thought in. I'm not a facility owner. I don't have that kind of investment going. If I were looking in the pickleball space right now, I would be looking at every possible option. And one of the things, and I hate to sound like I'm always doing a commercial for my show, but one of the goals that Selkirk had asked me to do would be kind of to report on where the sport is going in a business-to-business capacity. So that's taken me a lot of those places. But as an example, she should sure better know if there are any other yet to be committed facilities in your market from the other franchises that are already there, that they're coming, and then she's got something to weigh and compare. But I think the weigh and compare would be the strongest advice that anybody could give her.
Yeah, I think one thing before you leave, we've got several people here, Dill Dinkers, Pickle Rage, with franchise groups. We also have several people like Rommie, that's opened up their own facility. Coming up next, Brad Tuckman from the Fort, which I mentioned earlier, will be on our next panel talking about, we also have the Boca Paddle Club that just is building right now. So there a lot goes in from building from ground up versus finding a building existing, and they'll compare all the, that's where a lot of the franchise groups can get you in. I mean, the Boca Paddle Club's probably a 2-year process. I mean, so you can open up a franchise and they'll know better, depending on the facility, but there's a lot of different ways to go. It's also financial, how much money you want to invest in whether a new facility or getting into an existing facility, and leases and lands and everything else. So we'll be addressing that over the next couple days, and we got some of the best experienced people here speaking on those topics. So we've got time for one more question, and if we have another question before we bring up our next panel, which is going to be an exciting one with our friends from Duper and Duper Coach and the Fort and the Pickleball World Cup all coming up here next. So we have time for one more question for Rommie and Paul will both be doing a keynote a little bit later on tomorrow, right? Are you guys on today or tomorrow? I didn't have to look at the schedule. There is a schedule on we're back on schedule now. This is just a emergency COVID panel session, which I appreciate my two good friends here with great experience bailing me out, because I didn't want to talk for 40 minutes, that's for sure. I wasn't prepared. I mean, I can do a lot of talking, but any other questions before I let our two veterans go? Back here?
Yeah, quick question. When I walked in, there was a lot of talk about the key differentiators in the business space that sets themselves apart as programming. But then I feel like it's conflicting from a business model perspective, where it's more profitable to do the drop-ins, the open plays, more of the a la carte model. And just curious on your thoughts as you project out, as the younger generation is adopting the sport and the B2B, doing team building, that kind of stuff. What do you see as far as, why are more clubs not doing membership models? Like, just focusing on more of the chicken and pickle, social, the B2B, more of the event, more of the social pickleball versus the serious membership, programming, tournaments, that kind of stuff. Can they coexist, or should they be two completely different models?
It's really interesting, and one of the things that I'm sure is going to come up with a lot of you and a lot of the people that you'll talk to, both in this room and in the convention down below, the reality is it's really your specific market. One of the things, coming from a long, long history in the sports world and sports industry, one of the things that I found is that most of the businesses, regardless of the segment of the marketplace, that were really successful and ultra successful, they were ultra successful because they lived in the market space. They knew exactly what the community wanted. So you might very well be able to have a choice of one model or the other that you're describing. You may also find that it's the combination of both that will service best in your market. If you're looking in the space, my suggestion would be immerse yourself in the existing pickleball community, play with them, get to know them. They will tell you what they're really looking for. There have been so many different models that have been successful and others that have been unsuccessful. I find it's very specific to the region of the country. Do you have cold weather and warm weather? Are you pretty much outdoors all the time? Are you pretty much indoors? I'm from Minnesota. We've got, I think, the largest concentration of indoor pickleball clubs in the country right now is in Minneapolis, St. Paul. They have 7 months a year they have to be indoors. They don't have any choice. So you really have to learn and immerse yourself in the market space, I think, to make those decisions best, and then be nimble.
How about a round of applause for our two special guests who you'll be hearing a little bit more in their keynotes. They'll be talking about international governance and some great topics. And our first Golden Pickle Award business winners, Picklepreneurs, right here on stage.
Thank you all.